In Northumberland, on the border with Scotland, lies England's largest forest, Kielder. A wild and remote landscape, home to dense woodland, ancient bogs, and breathtaking waterfalls. And yet, 100 years ago, it didn't even exist. Created to provide the country with timber, it has evolved to become a refuge for some of Britain's greatest and most secretive wildlife. Alongside the people who live and work here, much-loved plants and animals battle to survive and flourish. Filmed over one dramatic year, capturing the beauty of 4 spectacular seasons. This is the story of life inside the forest. In Kielder Forest, change is in the air. It's a time to make preparations for tougher months ahead. The sun's power is fading. The weather is becoming colder. But while it might be getting darker, there are still moments of wonder. This is autumn. In the chilly autumn air, there's a feeling of the forest becoming quieter. The buzz of insects is a distant memory. Some animals might be leaving or hunkering down, but others are stirred into action. While we humans love to keep busy, for those creatures that are going to brave the winter in the forest, now is the time they must get busy. During the autumn, red squirrels eat as much as they can, adding fat reserves for the winter. They can put on around 12% of their body weight during this time, vital if they're to survive the tough months ahead. But it's not just about gorging on nuts. They must be cunning. Squirrels will hoard nuts in secret stashes they can return to all winter. It's a race against time. Temperatures could plunge at any moment, increasing the competition for the ever-dwindling food supplies. Being a solitary animal, and knowing it's a matter of life and death, they're reluctant to share their bounty. If another squirrel encroaches on its territory, they have a particular way of warning them off. This wiggling and tail wagging might look cute, but it's letting others know they have no intention of giving up their food. If they think they're being watched, red squirrels have even been known to make fake caches, pretending to bury a nut before secretly carrying it elsewhere. Red squirrels know they have to be braced for the winter ahead. Autumn sees the leaves of the deciduous trees turn from green to a golden yellow, and then fall. As the dead leaves drop and decay, it might not seem like the season of renewal, but in the dark, dank forest floor, one of nature's most mysterious transformations is about to happen. Invisible for most of the year, an extraordinary array of fungi explode from the ground. It's these fungi that are some of the wood's most prolific recyclers, feeding on the dead leaves, then releasing nutrients back into the soil, continuing the life cycle of the forest. The British Isles are home to a staggering 15,000 species of wild mushrooms or fungi, with around 50 known to be poisonous. Here in Kielder are some of the most magical. The yellow staghorn grows on rotting coniferous stumps. It's from the most common group of fungi that feeds on dead organic material. Harder to spot are the delicate mycena, a group of tiny bonnet-shaped mushrooms which carry out a similar job. Without these fungi, the forest might be buried under a mountain of dead leaves. There are some, however, that work in a very different way, like the unmistakable fly agaric. This classic fairy tale toadstool is often found beneath birch trees. Toadstool and tree live in perfect harmony, each supplying vital nutrients and minerals to the other. It's a relationship that's been going on for millions of years, helping the forest to flourish. For much of the forest, this is a last chance to prepare. Get it wrong now, and winter could be a desperate struggle. Deep in Kielder Forest, ecologists are checking up on one of Britain's most mysterious mammals.
Right.
One that is thinking about the future.
Oh, and there's a couple of bats in here. And a big fat spider. In fact, I tell a lie, there's 3 bats in here.
These specially designed boxes are monitored to keep track of the numbers of bats in the area.
Okay, so let's see what we've got.
This is a soprano pipistrelle bat.
I mean, what's not to like about that little face?
Weighing the same as a 20p piece, it's the smallest of the 18 species of bats found in the UK.
It's what we would call a 2-fingered bat. So literally it covers 2 of my fingers.
Across the country, the population of pipistrelles has declined by over 50% since the 1960s, and they're now on the protected species list.
So let's see if she's bred this year. And there we go. You see the bald patch around the nipple?
Yes.
Now what that indicates is that she's raised a pup this year, because
Yeah.
The fur has been worn away around
Yes.
her nipple
Oh, yes.
by the suckling pup.
Yeah.
At Kielder, they're hoping conditions are right for them to thrive.
So I've got a female. So there we go. Clear penis. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
so.
the male.
At this time of year, the males will spend the night trying to attract a harem of females to their roost.
He's been moderately successful. He's got two girls in with him. The most I've ever seen with pipistrelles is 16, but
one male.
with one male. And of course, sometimes you just get the solitary male who's sitting looking rather sad.
But while autumn might be mating season for these bats, the females have developed an incredible ability to pause the start of their pregnancy.
I'm just going to check and see if he is in mating condition. He should be, given he's got two females with him, but let's have a look.
The sperm from the male can be stored by the female in their uterus for months, and then only used for fertilization in spring, when conditions are better for feeding and the pregnancy has more chance of being successful.
Lots of squeaky noises coming out from this bag.
For now, it's back to the love nest for these bats.
There we go. 3 bats gone home.
Although the autumn-fall is happening across the forest, there are large areas of Kielder that remain a deep green. Originally created as a timber reserve, it means 75% of the 3 million trees planted each year are coniferous. Foresters like Billy Joe are here to manage the landscape.
The best part of being a forester in Kielder is being able to be outside, experiencing the beautiful landscape. You get to be part of shaping an environment on a huge landscape scale. So where we have the opportunity, where we are restocking, to put in different species, we do. Norway spruce, Douglas fir, Japanese larch, western hemlock, and then broadleaves such as birch, rowan, willow.
Conifers have been around for 300 million years and were the main food for certain dinosaurs. The key difference between a conifer and a broadleaf is the fact it produces cones. The more familiar woody structures are the seed-producing female cones. And as a specialist, Billy Joe is an expert at spotting the difference between them.
The main species that you'll find in Kielder is Sitka spruce, and the cones are quite cylindrical. The second most common tree you'll find in Kielder Forest is Norway spruce, which is quite commonly used for Christmas trees. And the cones are quite a lot bigger and they are more pointed. Another species is Douglas fir, and the cones have these little tails that come out of them that they're good, easy to identify because they look like little mice tails are crawling inside, little mice are crawling inside the cone.
The cones are another sign that the forest is thinking about the future. Just as for certain animals, breeding is on their minds. As cold air is sucked down from the Arctic, it meets the warm jet stream from the south, making much of autumn wet, very wet. It's this deluge that plays a crucial role in one animal's epic journey towards Kielder. Its most spectacular moment can be witnessed several miles down the river at Hexham. Driven by the urge to spawn in the river of their birth, salmon and sea trout battle against the flow as they travel upstream. These are adults returning after several years at sea, their muscles adapted for these short, sharp bursts of energy. Leaps can cover more than 3 meters, But there are dangers. Predators wait. Timing is everything. Will the journey be successful, or will a heron have a tasty meal? For those that make it, they continue their exhausting journey to the gravelly headwaters where they breed. The females lay eggs in the gravel, where the males then fertilize them. 50 years ago, these salmon might have made their way to Kielder Burn in the heart of the forest. But in the 1970s, thanks to one of the UK's biggest dams, Kielder Water was created. The largest man-made reservoir in northern Europe, it was designed to meet the water needs of the northeast. Its creation cut off Kielder Burn, some of the best salmon spawning ground, from the rest of the river. To compensate, the Kielder Salmon Centre was built. The largest conservation hatchery in the country, they now recreate that breeding process and return hundreds of thousands of salmon to the River Tyne every year.
So I'm going to just strip the eggs from this one that we collected the majority of the eggs from earlier in the week.
In charge of the breeding programme is Richard Bond.
Give her a quick wash.
Here, though, there's less swimming upstream for the salmon to do.
Put these eggs in the same bowl, Sasha, because these are going to be kelp eggs as well. So
Instead of laying their eggs in the riverbed, the females are anaesthetised before Richard removes their eggs.
they look beautiful, don't they, coming out under the sunlight there?
They then must mirror what happens in the wild, where it's not just the adult males who fertilise the eggs. These are precocious pars, sexually mature 2-year-olds. They might be only the length of a banknote, but it's thought around 15% of all salmon eggs are fertilised by these smaller, younger fish. After anaesthetising this fish, they carefully remove the sperm before returning it safely.
It's just incredible to think that these tiny little salmon are just possibly fertilising the eggs of a female salmon that may be sort of 10 kilos. So what's that? Probably 1,000 times larger in terms of weight than this fish. Just add it sort of a drop at a time as I mix.
It's now left for nature to do its thing. Incredibly, from the 7,000 eggs released by the female, it's thought only a handful will ultimately survive to become spawning fish themselves. It's not just salmon and bats thinking of romance. Near the border between England and Scotland, hidden away on the edge of the forest, is Blake Hopeburn Farm.
It's a different world being up here. It's one of the most remote farms, basically. It's one of the higher farms in the valley. Now, we get snow and bad weather when they're doing farther down the valley. Like it's a different climate.
For farmer Bob's rams, known in these parts as tups, it's about to be their busiest time of the year, breeding season. It's vital for Bob they're in peak condition. His business depends on it. A tup can lose up to 15% of his body weight during the weeks of mating. So poor body condition can have a big effect on performance and fertility. Thin tups may be too weak to get the job done, while fat tups may be too lazy. When it comes to feeding time, though, there's still something of a pecking order. And the bulls certainly know how to throw their weight around. The tups might just have to be patient. Once it's their turn to eat, their table manners aren't always impeccable. A bit of argy-bargy is natural behaviour amongst breeding tups, and usually seen around mealtimes. Hopefully, it just means they're fighting fit. Any day now, they're going to need all the stamina they have. As we reach the end of October, it's almost time for Halloween. It seems appropriate that the dew reveals a multitude of hidden spiders' webs. There's an eerie feel to the forest. The harsh winter months will soon be here. It's a last opportunity for many animals to fatten up ahead of leaner times. As evening comes, the familiar stripy head of the badger emerges. For our cameras hidden around the forest, this is a good time to catch a glimpse of one of Britain's most recognizable mammals as it forages for food. Their main food source of earthworms will become increasingly scarce as the ground hardens. But badgers will eat almost anything. And right now they have to make the most of whatever they can find. Using its sense of smell, this one has found a frog to snack on. It's not just about food. Badgers are excellent housekeepers, and knowing they're about to spend more time underground, they drag fresh bedding back to their sets. Across the forest, time is running out. If you're not ready by now, it could be a challenging winter ahead. In Kielder Forest, home to millions of trees, some of the most unexpected can be found by the water. When the reservoir's water level is low, these creepy stumps are exposed, showing off a part of the area that was flooded when Kielder water was created. Deep in the forest, there are more bat harems to find.
This is our next tree here.
In Kielder, it's believed there are 9 of the 18 species of bat found in the UK.
Oh, hello. Here's something different.
While the pipistrelle is the smallest, it looks like the largest is also here.
Hello. What's your name then?
This box contains 3 noctule bats.
Huge, but relatively narrow wings, because this is a big, fast-flying
Yes,
bat.
so,
I mean, these are the bruisers of the UK bat world.
With a wingspan of up to 40 centimetres, its long, narrow wings help it reach speeds of 50 kilometres an hour.
Now, let's see if she's bred this year.
The 2 females here are likely to give birth to just 1 pup in the spring.
Here we are. She's bred this year.
For their size, bats are extremely unusual in the animal world. While they breed slowly, they often live to a ripe old age.
Noctules like these will easily live into the teens, and quite possibly older. The oldest bat we know of in the UK lived to be 42.
In comparison, most mice have a lifespan of around 2 years. Scientists are still trying to understand how bats live for so long. But it could be that these creatures hold the secret to healthy aging. It's November in Kielder. For Farmer Bob's tups, their big day has come. It's tupping season, and they're ready to meet the ewes. Despite waiting all year for this, they don't just rush in. There's a very particular courtship ritual. Time will be spent sniffing and assessing each other. Lip curling, known as the phlegmon response, helps them inhale pheromones into a sense organ in the roof of the mouth. These chemical clues will tell them if the ewe is ready to breed. Kicking a potential partner might not seem very romantic, but this foreleg striking helps them test whether she's ready to mate. If the female is receptive, she'll stand still and wait. The only problem now might be a rival tup. They just can't help but compete with each other. Fortunately, it's just a bit of jostling. These boys will spend over 2 weeks with this group. By the end, Farmer Bob will be hoping every ewe is pregnant, while the tups might just need a rest. Elsewhere, work continues in the forest. Timber must be supplied, and 50 lorry loads leave Kielder every day. Livelihoods depend on the millions of trees in this remote wilderness. But there are threats. An increasing range of invasive pests and diseases are putting Britain's trees at risk. Left unchecked, they could have a devastating effect. In Kielder, a forest full of Sitka spruce, there's one threat in particular that could be disastrous for thousands of trees. This is a great spruce bark beetle. It might be small, but left unchecked, it tunnels into the bark to lay eggs. When they hatch, the larvae then attack and destroy Sitka trees, vital for the timber industry. There is hope. Entomologist Katie Dainton is here to release a very natural solution: another beetle.
One of the ways we control this pest is we release another beetle, and this is a predatory beetle. It doesn't have a common name. Scientific name is Rhizophagus grandis, and this beetle is a silver bullet, really. It is a way of controlling the pest species without having to use chemicals, without having to chop the trees down. So it's a really useful tool that we've got.
Once released, they're on a mission. Using their extraordinary powers to hunt out and create larvae of their own, to destroy great spruce bark beetles.
They're incredibly good at finding the pest. They can find them up to 5 kilometres away from where you release them, and they have little sensors on their antennae, and they can essentially smell the pest species and find it in a way that we could never, as humans, do.
Katie will return to see if her predatory beetle's mission has been successful. For Kielder, though, it's not just small creatures that damage the trees. Roe deer are Britain's most common native deer. Dainty and elegant, they are also flighty and alert, always seemingly on edge. Paul Pickett is the wildlife manager at Kielder.
It's purely roe deer in Kielder. It's unique. There's probably no other forest like it for its size, just to have one species of deer. And that's purely because it's a young forest.
On a cold autumn morning, he's up early doing one of the ranger's most important, if difficult, jobs. What's politely known as managing the deer population.
They've got no natural predator, so we have to do that. It's a fact. They don't just damage trees, they damage habitats. So that's a fact. It's well known. Naturalists know that. Deer management has to go ahead. We do it in such a way that it is sustainable. We do care about the animals.
The thousands of roe deer are one of the most serious threats to the woodland. Eating the tops off saplings, they damage the growth of young trees.
We're not here to exterminate a population. It's to manage the deer population and have a sustainable deer population and create habitats where all wildlife can thrive. That's the big thing in forestry now.
Finding the roe deer is a challenge in itself. They have a remarkable sense of smell, 1,000 times better than ours. Although Paul has his secret weapon, his dog Ollie, who can use his sense of smell to help track the deer.
Weather's all important, wind direction's important. You've got your deer dog. A deer dog's essential. It's probably one of the best bits of kit you've got because it'll save you hours of time looking for deer over a year. When we go out stalking and culling deer, we're very focused in what we're trying to achieve. So it's super professionally done.
The deer that are killed aren't wasted. They're collected and will eventually be sold in shops as venison.
I don't do it for sport. I don't derive any pleasure from it. It's a job we've got to do. We do it professionally. It's just part of a process. It's part of working in the forest.
In a different part of the forest, amongst the millions of trees, the search is on for a star attraction.
It's that one over there, but it looks patchy at the bottom. It might be worth having a closer look, though.
For the 18th year in a row, it's hoped Kielder will provide the Christmas tree to stand in front of Big Ben in Westminster's new palace yard.
It's nice and full at the front, but it's patchy at the back because it's getting overshadowed already.
It's Forester Steve's responsibility to find the perfect tree. One that might possibly become the most photographed Christmas tree in the world. But it's not as easy as it might seem.
Tree here has a nice structure, nice form, but if you look at the back of it, it's actually two trees in one. Now, we can sometimes get away with that if that split has happened 5 meters up the tree, but being at that level, when we cut it down, it will still fall as two separate trees.
He must avoid any trees infested with the green spruce aphid, or they'll suffer from needle drop. There's also the small matter of fitting it on a lorry and making the 330-mile journey to London in one piece. For that reason, he'll be hoping to choose a 40-foot Sitka spruce, a species that holds its form better than the more traditional Norway spruce. And he might just have found the perfect tree.
It's a nice even shape, not as much cones, but there's no aphid dieback on there. There's needles all the way into the centre.
Now it's just a matter of cutting it down and getting it to Westminster in perfect condition. As the weeks go on and the nights draw in, Kielder Forest is heading towards the darkest time of the year. It might be colder and gloomier, but this darkness has its advantages. Above Kielder Observatory, the skies have been granted special dark sky reserve status. The controls on light pollution make it one of the best places in the world to see the stars. In a town or city on a clear night, you might see around 300 stars. Here in Kielder, that figure is more like 4,000. As December approaches, it's thought around 7 million real Christmas trees will go up across the UK.
Right, everyone happy?
Yeah.
For the Kielder Foresters, there's one in particular they're focused on. This Sitka spruce has been chosen by Steve to adorn Westminster's new palace yard. But have aphids already caused too much damage?
They're dead, there's nothing on them. So that's a sign that the aphid have already started on this.
An aphid infestation could be disastrous. If the problem is severe, what looks like the perfect tree could suddenly lose its needles once it's cut down. With warmer winter temperatures, such pests aren't being killed off as much as they once were. There's only one way to discover if this is the right tree. Precision is key.
Get them all off there!
Ideally, they'd be able to simply lift it out of the forest.
I'll do.
But when the tree is this big,
You jump in the tractor and give us some revs.
it has to be dragged out. Weighing 2 tons, it's hoped it will keep its structure. Loaded onto the truck, it appears the aphids haven't affected the needles too much. But it's only once the 330-mile journey to London is complete that they'll know for sure if it looks right for such a famous setting. Back in the forest is entomologist Katie Dainton. She's working on saving the destruction of thousands of spruce trees from the great spruce bark beetle. After releasing predator beetles that can feed on these pests, she's now looking for signs they're having an effect. First, she searches for infested spruce trees by looking for dead treetops. Then up close, she spots the telltale signs of beetle entry holes with white, waxy resin candles on the trunk. Having found an infected tree, it's felled for Katie to start her investigation.
So there should be an adult entry hole here. All this gunky stuff is a mixture of sap from the tree and frass, which is essentially beetle poo.
It's chemicals in this poo that the predator beetle uses to hunt its prey.
Oh, and we found an adult beetle already. This is the pest species.
Having found a female, the search is on for a gallery, the beetle equivalent of a nest where she lays her eggs. It's when these eggs hatch into larvae, which feed under the bark, that the real damage is done.
Yay, more beetles. What we've got here is some of the pest larvae. And you can see they're all in a group, and that's because they're all feeding together.
But what she wants to find are the predator beetle's larvae. By feeding on the pest larvae, they are a vital biological weapon, controlling the numbers and stopping them from destroying spruce trees across the forest.
I think I've just spotted right in the middle of that, this slightly bigger larva. That one is the predatory larvae, so it's having its dinner there.
With this discovery, it looks like it's working.
What's really great about this tree and what's really brilliant to see is we found some of the pest larvae, but not in huge numbers, and we've also found the predatory species Rhizophagus grandis. So we know that it's here and we know that it's doing its job, and that is just brilliant. That is exactly what we want to see, and that is why we're doing what we're doing.
In London, Steve has accompanied the Kielder tree all the way to Westminster.
You always pray that as it's being dragged out of the forest, that there's been no damage on the branches. You know, you don't want to stand up and everything falls off, like you end up with a totem pole.
It's a nerve-wracking time for everyone. Kielder Forest is a long way away if they need to go back and get a new one. Will the tree still look its best after an epic journey? It's the moment of truth.
It's looking good, it's survived, so happy to get a tree somewhere so iconic, so viewed by tourists from around the world, and they'll see a tree from Kielder, the tree that I've worked on. It's a sense of pride, that.
Next time, Kielder is turned into a winter wonderland. We meet Britain's only aquatic songbird. And the forest welcomes some new arrivals.